City live here on Mike Drop Sports. Appreciate you all for diving in here on another live stream here on Mike Drop Sports. Appreciate it so very much. And I'm your host Jason, as always. So we are going to dive in. Robert Road. I would want picks from the Patriots for taking Milton off their hands. Stay away from Milton. Absolutely, me too, man. They would have to pay me to take him, and I know some people might not like to hear that. They may think we're a little bit crazy. He has a big body, 6'5", 200 some pounds, big dude, man. Big rocket arm, no accuracy. Really no experience. Got drafted in the 6th round. Now you're going to try to flip him back to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 3rd round pick is the insane offer that the New England Patriots have basically put out there that they would want as a return on investment for one Joe Milton. I don't believe that to be something that I would entertain if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Aaron Rodgers situation seems like he wants at least $35 million per year. That seems to be what his asking price is. But this guy's holding you hostage. And honestly, he's had all offseason to think about this, guys. So why continue to sit here and even mess with it? It makes no sense. Just roll with Mason Rudolph. Draft a couple young guys here over the next year or two. Try to find yourself a wily veteran that can come in and be a backup to Mason for the time being. And just go with it. There's no sense in continuing this charade that you're super interested in any of these guys. It's an absolute weak market. You have to choose from guys that are absolutely ancient, that don't got it anymore, or you have to choose from guys that are highly inaccurate, that they are a project. And let's be honest right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a good track record of developing anybody at the quarterback position under Mike Tomlin's staff. That's just the reality in which we live. So these are the things that are all going here. The Steelers do sign a big-time defensive lineman. A 31-year-old started 16 games for the New England Patriots last season, and Daniel Akula. Akule, I never pronounce names right. You know how I go. But they signed him. 52 tackles in 57 career games. He has 6 career sacks. So, yeah, he's going to be a guy that can add some nice depth there and be a real run stuffer up front and a nice addition to Keanu Benton and Cameron Hayward. So I appreciate that move from the Pittsburgh Steelers, definitely. They let Larry O go, so that saved them around $7 million. You had about $3.5 million in dead cap space there with Larry O as he moved over to the Buffalo Bills and took that 6-game suspension for, I believe, performance enhancing drugs. Yeah, that's where they sit with those things. But again, I think that was a key under the radar type signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers that'll definitely significantly upgrade a defensive front that wasn't bad. And I know people always hear me say the Steelers need defensive front players. They have to go after that. And that's very important this offseason, and I stand behind that. But I wasn't saying the defensive front was absolutely horrible. I wasn't saying that in any way. They were actually pretty good, but they were missing that true nose tackle, run stuffer type player. They had Keanu, they had Lario, they had Cam Hayward, but they didn't have that big body guy. Mon Adams, I guess you could say, could have been, but he had some injuries and things of that nature. But you're looking at this new signing and you say to yourself, this kind of completes that trio. You're adding that bigger body guy and a real run stuffer, hopefully up front, to really provide some stability to that offensive line or defensive line that really needed to be a little bit more stable and a little bit more depth. So we're going to dive into all of that. Again, I appreciate everybody being in there. I pinned Robert's comment because I thought it was really good because I would want people to pay me to take Joe Milton off your hands. I'm not giving a 3rd round pick when you've already given away a 2nd round pick for DK Metcalf. So you have a 1st and a 3rd as your top picks. You have some players that you could potentially make and turn into some draft capital, but you don't know whether those picks are going to be 2nd or 3rds or however you could do that. That's all hypothetical. But if you're the Steelers, you can't pin yourself into a position to where you're not picking it all but one time inside of the first 3 rounds. I think that's a little bit of suicide, in my opinion, in terms of what the Steelers want to do, how they build their franchise. They've always valued the draft. That's how they've built their franchise over the years. And the draft being of high value to them and straying that far from your game plan is a little bit uneasy for me because I'm all for adapting and changing and doing things in a different way, but sometimes you can go a little bit too far in the other direction. And I think that that could be a problem for the Steelers. But we'll see how it all goes. Code Reviews, what's up, Steelers626? What's up, Jason? What's up, everyone? Being from Cali, sometimes it's hard for me to tune in and join in the conversation because of the time and me working, but I do love it when I can. Love the show, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Steelers626. Shout out to you in California. What's up, Sean in the house? Sean's also out there on that West Coast area from Hawaii. So you guys definitely very much appreciated to have that interaction from you guys out there on the West Coast here on Steel City Live. Also, all of you tuning in from around the world, that is definitely really, really cool. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Super chat's always available. Again, likes are very important. We're always shooting for 100 here, at least on the live stream. So we try to do that. And again, if you're not subscribed to the best show, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Join the conversation. Also, share the show, man. It's really simple, easy. It's just one little quick button, man. Share it to your social medias. Invite your friends and family to join us here on the show. What's up, Zach Curry, Danny George in the house. Let's keep going. Robert Road, 31 and only started one season, speaks volumes. Depth piece. Yeah, he only started one season, but he is that depth piece. Agreed. Definitely. Depth piece. He's going to add that depth that you so desperately need there. You need to have a rotation of players. You need to be able to keep guys that are aging like Cam down on their snap count, especially early in the year. You want to be able to preserve them for the long haul. You really want Cam Hayward's presence to be really, truly felt later in that year when you're trying to chase a Lombardi trophy. So you want to be able to preserve that, and depth is the key there. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. The Cincinnati Bengals dropped that money bag today. Absolutely. That is something we are going to talk about here in 1 second because I wanted to talk about it. Let me catch up on the chat. I think I did. I think I caught up. So make sure if you're not commenting just yet, make sure you put your comments, questions, and concerns inside of the live chat here on Steel City Live, America's favorite sports show. That's right here on YouTube, right here on Mic Drop Sports. Don't forget you can join our socials. Mic Drop Sports on X, Mic Drop Sports on Facebook. And if you need those links, you can email me or you can check in our channel bio, and we will be happy to give you those links. But there's other ways to support the channel in there also. Bengals signed both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, dropping a monster bag. And does this show to you and the rest of the AFC North and the NFL that the Bengals aren't serious about winning? And you may say that I'm crazy for saying that, but you're putting a lot of value. I'm not sure T's exact contract, but I heard it was like $115 million over a couple of seasons or something like that, over a few years or something. But it was massive money. He's making big bucks. I'll look up his contracts here in 1 second. But here's the thing. Then you turn over and you sign Jamar Chase to a $40.5 million contract. That now breaking the record for a non-quarterback contract in the league per season value. And that is now Jamar Chase. He now leads the NFL by $500,000 per season over the record holder that was previously in place in Myles Garrett, that was just handed a Brinks truck full of money by these stupid Cleveland Browns. And now you see Cleveland and Cincinnati, in my opinion, come up with some dumb moves here, man. I would have signed definitely one of those receivers for sure. Jamar Chase would have been my guy, but I can't justify $100 million being in one room, man. One room for two players. Now you look at over $150 million, it seems like, right around there, about $150 million for three players. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Now you want to add Trey Hendrickson to that list, and they say that they are really going to sign them. So you're going to be putting in four players, an exuberant amount of money, my friends. And are you serious now about winning a championship while you have a generational talent at the wide receiver spot and a generational talent at the quarterback position in Joe Burrow? You're putting yourself into a very big problem here, in my opinion. T. Higgins' reaction for a $150 million contract extension. So yeah, it was $115 million. And then Jamar Chase, $40.5 million per season for Jamar Chase. I believe that's over several seasons, like 4 or 5, something like that. But it's a bag, man. So Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, those are your guys. Okay, you built your nucleus, but have you put too much money into that? Because yes, the cap goes up every year. The cap is a fictitious number. You can manipulate the cap, but there becomes a time where the liquid cash value of a franchise starts to run a little bit thin. That is true too. That can happen. And it makes you wonder what's going on there in Cincinnati, guys. And our man Daniel Warman may be able to tell us something about that. But the Bengals I don't believe they're really trying to win a Super Bowl here. I just don't. With what you did here in those 3 signings, those 3 guys, now if you add Trey Hendrickson to that, it makes me wonder how they're going to be able to move on, because now you force your franchise into a situation on being absolutely perfect inside of the NFL draft. You have to be absolute perfect. And also it forces your franchise into the situation to where you have to actually be super stellar, man, inside of free agency, where you're finding value and being able to recruit players on a discount to come play with the players you currently have in place. You have to use Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, if you're able to sign him, to you have to really use those players to entice others to come. And are players really going to just want to come just because of those guys? I don't know. I don't know. Again, I feel like the Bengals have painted themselves into a spot to where they have to be absolutely perfect in every situation now. I just feel like there's no margin for error. And now you put yourself also in the spot to where, what if one of these guys get injured? Now you're screwed because you have so much money invested into them. You know you don't really have quality depth unless you've been really, really good inside of the draft. Now what do? What if both of them get hurt? What if you have 2 of them hurt at one time, a Joe Burrow and the other one? Or what if you have T and Chase hurt at one time? You put yourself into a really, really bad spot, guys. And honestly, I don't want to see the Steelers do that, because now they find themselves in the situation to where they could possibly do that with George Pickens and DK Metcalf. They do have the opportunity to probably do the same thing. And with the salary cap increasing and increasing and increasing, maybe it is a little bit more possible. Maybe you can sneak away, though, with a little bit bigger deal for that second wide receiver, but it just doesn't seem feasible to me, guys. It doesn't seem right, man. I don't think I would want to do it. I think if you want to have George Pickens in that building, if you're the Steelers, you ride this out. Maybe you franchise him. I mean, whatever. It's one season. Get 2 years out of him, and in the meantime, continually try to draft somebody, try to hit on somebody in the draft, perhaps maybe bring in a cheaper option at free agency, because you have nailed down DK Metcalf for 5 years, $33 million a season, roughly about 30 to 33 million, whatever it is, however it all works out with bonuses and things of that nature. So definitely just an odd situation going on inside of Cincinnati. And it's just really puzzling sometimes how some of these teams operate. It really is just weird to me. But maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I don't know. Craig Orlo in the house. I don't trust Tomlin and his staff to find a quarterback in the draft and to help that quarterback grow. I can't disagree with you, Craig. But the Steelers find themselves in that spot right now, guys. And I will get to as many chat questions as I possibly can. Comments, questions, and concerns are always welcome. But again, make sure you're double tapping that screen, beating the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live. Send us out into that YouTube algorithm. We want to, though, continue here. I'll try to get to as many. Super chats are always open. We have a goal set for 10 super chats today, so let's try to hit that goal if we can. If we don't, we don't. There's no pressure with that. But just if you want your comment read instantly, that's the way to do it. But I will go through the chat as much as humanly possible. But, guys, the Steelers find themselves in a rough spot, and Craig brings it up. Do you trust this team to develop a quarterback, to bring in a quarterback? I think the answer could be yes. I think that you got to take the chance. I don't think there's really any option. If we just say the Steelers can't do it, it really, honestly, it doesn't matter, for the lack of better words, because The Steelers have to do it. That's what the situation is. They got to just stop this game. You've went through now a whole another weekend. You've went through all last week. There's still no answer from Aaron Rodgers, and you're being held hostage. And I understand, I guess you really can't hold a team hostage in the quarterback situation when there really ain't anybody out there, so it really doesn't matter. But you find yourself in a spot to where you look foolish and you got cake on your face when you're sitting here almost begging these guys to come in. It's just dumb. You roll with Mason. You do what you got to do. You take your lumps if you have to. You go inside of the draft. You pick the best quarterback you can find. You do it this year. You probably do it next year, and so on and so forth. And that's how you're going to get this done, guys. You cannot continue to band-aid the quarterback situation and expect things to be any different. And if we continue as a franchise, if the Pittsburgh Steelers continue as a franchise to go out there and band-aid the most important position in sports, we're going to continually have the same conversation year after year after year. And that is the mediocrity and substandard play of the Pittsburgh Steelers. How unhappy the fan base is in Pittsburgh. That's the conversation you will have year in, year out. This never changes, guys. I don't care if you go out there and sign an Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if you go out there and make a trade for somebody stupid like a Kirk Cousins. It doesn't matter. You're still band-aiding the situation, guys, and that is not the answer here. The Steelers must go into the draft and draft a young guy. I don't care if that's a third rounder. I don't care if you get Jackson Dart at 21. Whatever you got to do it. But the Pittsburgh Steelers can no longer afford to continue to set this franchise back by not really going after anybody that's a young talent. And I know they went after Kenny Pickett, blah, blah, blah. That didn't work out. You're going to swing and miss with these guys. And that's the whole point. You got to continue to draft these guys until you find somebody that hits. That doesn't mean that you got to go out there and draft somebody within the top 10. That doesn't mean you make foolish, dumb moves year after year, trading away a bunch of immense amount of high-value draft capital. That doesn't mean any of that. Let the draft come to you. Don't be one of these foolish teams. I've said this before. Sometimes you got to allow the draft to come to you, and then you got to look for the situations in which you can make big monster splash moves. Maybe you've built up an enormous amount of draft capital through, I don't know, maybe compensatory picks, trades, things of that nature, to where you are in a position to make a trade that isn't detrimental to your draft class. Because guys, let's be honest. The real way to build a roster, and this is tried and true even for teams that spend a lot of money, you have to hit on a couple players every year in the draft to supplement your roster. You have to. You cannot afford to miss on a bunch of players. You cannot afford to have draft classes with 2 or 3 players in it each year because you're trading away all of your draft capital. You're going to get old. You're going to get old quick, and you're going to set your franchise back in a big, big way. These are the things that happen to some of these teams that just can't get it right. And these prime examples are out there. And the Steelers have always done things the Steeler way, and they need to continue to do that and not fall trap and say, "Oh man, we gotta start following suit. We gotta start being copycats." No. That was our theme last week. Be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stop trying to be other teams. Stop trying to put things out there that don't make sense for your franchise and your fan base and your city. Do the things that are necessary in order to be good, and the things that you know that you have to do in order to be good, that have put 6 Lombardi trophies in the trophy case down there on the south side of Pittsburgh. Let me get a drink, guys, but in the meantime, what I need you to do is smash that freaking like button like you fucking own it. Like you own it. Double tap that screen. It's absolutely free to hit that like button. We're always chasing 100 likes here on the live stream. It's a great way to help out your creators, guys. Also, become a Mic Drop Mafia member, 99 cents a month. And super chats are always open if you want your comment instantly read. That'll be the way to do it. Let me get a drink here. Zaz says, how do you think it will be if we ride out with Rudolph? I heard he isn't starting. That there will or should be competition. I think there should be competition, Zah. Good to see you, my friend. I think there should be competition, and I don't think any room should ever be without competition. I think there should always be competition in a room so you don't become complacent at any position. There should always be somebody breathing down your neck that you know if you're not performing to the highest level possible, if you're not coming out here week in, week out, working your ass off trying to be the best, that there is somebody there that's willing to do that, that's willing to die for theirs, and go out there and do it each and every week, man, and not slip. And that's what you're trying to not have happen at any position. You got to have that depth. You got to have guys behind nipping at your heels. You want to create that competition. That breeds championship football. And I understand you could get a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's going to unseat him. But yet you still got to always try to make that room better. You still always got to put competition in that room. You still want to challenge that player, even if they are crazy superstar level. You still always got to do that. And we don't know if Mason's going to start or not because we don't know whether or not the quarterback situation really changes much. And if Mason Rudolph is the veteran guy and they go out there and they draft a young talent, Mason's starting. Mason's going to be the guy. That's the facts. So all these people out there that are telling you Mason isn't going to start, he's definitely the number 2, they don't know. Nobody knows. Until you see this roster get put out there, you see who's on the roster, you watch how training camp unfolds, that's when you know. You know what I mean? That's how you're going to know. Nobody knows just yet whether or not Mason Rudolph will be the starter. And if he's the veteran, he's probably going to be the starter. If the Steelers go out there and they get a Tyler Shuck or a Jackson Dart, those guys will play behind Mason Rudolph until they're ready. And that's probably the right thing to do. But yet, you have a young guy in there armed, providing that competition and learning from a good, solid Christian man, a man of faith, a man of God. Who better do you want your quarterback learning from than one Mason Rudolph? Honestly. Great character, great man, good ball player, smart ball player. Who else would you want a young guy learning from? I don't know. Yeah, you can pick all the greats out there, but when you're talking about attitude, you're talking about team attitude, a guy that wants to be all about the team, a guy that will sacrifice everything for the sake of the team, it's Mason Rudolph, guys. And I'm not going to sit here and discount Mason Rudolph in any way. Mason, if you're out there, you ever want to come on the show and talk about some of these things, your faith, anything, man, I would love to have you to let people know what you're really all about, man, because I really, truly believe that you're a solid player, and I feel like you're going to do really, really well, man. Steelers 626. Bengals are going to rely on less than mediocre D once again, and look what happened there last season. Bengals. Yeah. Chad Schrader, what's up, man? What's up, Jason? Here we go. Steelers, here we go. Robert Road, $123.85 million for 3 players on a 53-man roster. Don't forget the 10 or 12-man practice squad. Yeah, Robert, it's weird, my friend. It's troublesome, no doubt about it. Mr. Stiller fan, honestly, let's go with Mason Rudolph. I don't really see a problem with him. I don't expect him to take us to the Super Bowl, but he might be able to win the division. AFC North is never a guarantee. No, guys, and what is one thing, good comment, Mr. Steeler fan, what is one thing that Mason Rudolph does provide you that many other quarterbacks out there cannot? And that is, he knows how to play inside of the AFC North. He knows how this thing all works. He knows the physicality of the game inside of the AFC North. He understands the rivalries. He understands the meaning of winning divisional games. And he's been in those divisional games. And that stage isn't going to be too big for Mason. He understands the weight of those situations. He understands what is at stake in the city of Pittsburgh. He understands the collection of Lombardi trophies down there on South Water Street that mean so much to the city and to the Steeler fans and the franchise as a whole. He understands all of these things. And I believe a year away for Mason was a really good thing. I think it was time for him to reset, understand what he had, understand some of the things that work and don't work for him as a player and also an offense as a whole. And I really, truly believe that a lot of people are discounting the ability of Mason Rudolph, his strong arm, his ability to stand in the pocket, his ability to take hits under pressure and not panic. Yeah, he's had happy feet at times, but whenever he came in, and went 4-1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought those happy feet were at a minimum. I thought his pocket presence was really, really good. I thought his field vision was really, really good. I thought his anticipation was absolutely great. I thought he was able to make quality decisions down in, down out, and wasn't afraid sometimes to make tough decisions in terms of where to put the football, to take risks as a quarterback. He wasn't afraid of those turnovers and would just force it sometimes into situations that maybe weren't the best, but he got it done. So definitely Mason Rudolph is a guy that we really got to be having some high hopes for. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be super down on Mason. I think he's a fabulous talent. I think he's a guy that's gotten shortchanged a lot. I think he was mishandled in the city of Pittsburgh. I think the opportunities weren't given to him in the way that I think they should have been. I think maybe instead of going out there and finding Mitchell Trubisky to bring him in, they should have continued to roll with Mason Rudolph as the guy, allowed Kenny to come in and back up Mason, and allowed that to happen organically. Why force feed Mitchell Trubisky into the situation because you were so desperate to leave a franchise quarterback in place in Kevin Colbert? That's what he was doing. He was so desperate to leave that franchise quarterback for the Steelers so they didn't have to search for one. And I admire him wanting to do that, but it was a reach, it was a grab, and it didn't work, and it was a real problem. So definitely something that the Steelers, I think, regret on the way they handled him, the way they did that whole situation, the way everything went down for Mason. All right, guys, I need you to double tap that screen. Let's get those likes starting to hop up there. It's absolutely free to do so. It really helps your creators to hit that like button, man. Share the show. It's definitely something that's easy. It's free. It costs you $0 to do so. So thank you, and I'm very appreciative of it. And I'm not like some other creators to where, and I'm not naming anybody in particular. This is just YouTube as a whole. I feel like they don't value what you do for them enough, and I truly value what you guys do, and that's why I try to give you my best each and every day by giving you the live streams. I don't monetize the live streams in terms of commercials and things of that nature because I care about your viewing experience. So again, easy way to support me with that is just by hitting that like button. Craig Barlow, Bengals did that, and unfortunately, they will go farther than the Steelers because they got the most important position, quarterback. Yes, and definitely you need that quarterback, but will they go farther than the Steelers? I don't know because of the way the Bengals have painted them into themselves into a tough situation, man. They can't afford injury. They can't afford to mess up anywhere. They have to be absolutely perfect because they literally have half of their cap in 3 players. I don't know if it makes sense. We'll see. It's kind of an experiment that the Bengals are running there. Mr. Stiller fan, look at it like this. What if Mason puts up some nice numbers? We have him for 2 years, and he could be trade bait in 2026 offseason. No doubt. No doubt. That's why I say just go, draft a young guy, ride with Mason. Here's the worst case scenario, my friends. Say Mason doesn't work out. Say the Steelers suck ass. They finish with 4 wins or 3 wins. Say that's what happens. God forbid they don't win a game. But just say that happens. Now all of a sudden you find yourself at the top of the draft with a guy named Manning inside of it. That ain't too bad. If that's your consolation prize for taking a year of sucking ass, oh, well, I'm cool with it. Let's ride with it. Let's have a bad season and talk about how bad Mike Tomlin is and how bad the Steelers are. I mean, what else you want to do? I don't know. I don't think it would be that bad. Yeah, we always got a red card, it's called that flag, baby. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen. It's absolutely free. Let's get those likes cranking up. We're always chasing 100. Wave that terrible towel from Miss Pittsburgh. I really think Mason Rudolph could put up 25 to 30 touchdowns and take the AFC North division. I really think this young man has not been given a fair shot. Titans were not the right scheme at all. Steelers 626 still holding out hope for Roman Wilson. I think Roman Wilson will get better. We'll see, but that's a work in progress, guys. Joe Vlogs, Pickens needs to do a complete 180 on his character and on his play in order for him to get paid. I agree, and I don't find George Pickens to be in a position right now to demand a Jamar Chase type salary or demand a salary similar to DK Metcalf. I don't see him in that position. He's not a guy that has those types of bargaining chips right now. In my eyes, George Pickens is a $15 to $20 million a year wide receiver. And if he changes that, he all of a sudden, if he does some of the things that Joe says there in his comment, he flips over and now he becomes a $25 to $35 million a year wide receiver instantly. And if he puts up big numbers, then maybe he's in that Jamar Chase type category. It's all in George's hands right now, guys. It's the ball is in George's court. He has to be able to take control of that. What's up, downtown? Steel 43. Sammy J. Go Warriors TSU. Y'all should be happy that you have DK. All right, guys, I'm going to continue down through the chat. In the meantime, I need you guys to beat the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live. Man, guys, I have literally been so sick today. I took some medicine. It kicked in about an hour ago. I decided to do the show. I was throwing up all day. I was like cleaning my house and like going hard cleaning the house, you know, like one of those types of cleans. And all of a sudden, man, I broke out in like this hard sweat and I'm like, shit. Started throwing up. I took a little bit of a siesta. And here I find myself on Steel City Live feeling a little bit better, but I'm waiting for these meds to wear off. So if I abruptly stop, you know why. It's because I got to puke. What are the chances we sign Duck Hodges or RG3? That's a dumb question, Boswell. Greg Werlo, Tomlin is too prideful to take his lumps so they can be able to get their next quarterback. And that's perhaps an issue, guys, you know? And is that why they continue to Band-Aid the quarterback position? Because Mike's so afraid of losing that dumb record that he has. Mr. Steeler fan, quarterback for the franchise is not in 2025. It's 2026 or beyond. Yeah, I've been saying that too, man. I believe 2026 is the best. Dante Con, no, that's so dumb, dude. Boswald. Steel 43. I would give Tomlin this year to get it right. And when it doesn't work, I would clean house, get draft picks for Tomlin, and rebuild with a different coach and staff. Tomlin has a no trade clause, so I don't believe he's able to be traded. I think so, guys. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that to be true. Let's keep going. Sleeping Lady in the house. Tomlin wants his 9-8 record. Absolutely. Sleeping Lady. Jets gave Fields $30 million guaranteed. QBR at 29th since 2021. Right there. Good comment, Sleeping Lady. That shows you exactly how desperate teams are to try to find the solution at the quarterback position. Look what the Jets did for Aaron Rodgers. They rolled out the red carpet. They did everything for him, man. And yet they weren't able to get it done. And now they go out there and they grossly overpay for Justin Fields. And a good point. 29th in QBR since 2021. Justin definitely improved last year. I love the way he approached the game. I've given him his props there. But the Steelers gave him a more than fair offer, and Justin instead went for the money. He went for the cash and didn't think about his long-term security and future inside of the NFL. And in my opinion, I felt like it was a grave mistake because the Steelers were all in on Justin Fields. But yet he chose the New Jersey Jets to go out there and collect that $30 million fully guaranteed. It reminds me of a similar situation, but a different position. And that was one in which Le'Veon Bell went to the Jets for that over $30 million of fully guaranteed money. And look what happened to his career. And I think that Justin Fields is going to find himself in that same situation to where he will be a forever backup in this league. Why? Because he's screwing himself. He had a golden opportunity to be the guy of a cornerstone franchise, a franchise that is revered around the world. This isn't bullshit. This is truth. A franchise in which every eye is on every time they can find them on national TV. The world watches the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to throw away that opportunity to guide the Steelers, a historically great franchise, a cornerstone franchise that has helped build the NFL into what it is today, you throw that opportunity away to go to the New Jersey Jets that are just pitiful. That shows you what means more to you. It's not chasing Lombardi trophies. It's about how much money you can make in one clip so you can be in Dubai, so you can be in these places and doing your thing. Football isn't your number one concern. Winning championships isn't your number one concern. It's wealth. That's what your number one concern is. And if you're a guy in the NFL, you want to know how you accumulate great wealth in the NFL? You want to know how you have a long-term career? That is putting your faith and your football playing and practicing your skills and becoming that guy out there on the field. That's what makes you immensely wealthy in the NFL. It creates a long-term career that's far better in short-term, quick, fast money. When you could go with the Steelers and make yourself a bag, it just might take you a little bit of time, and you got to put in that work and effort. And I felt like Justin Fields shied away from that for roughly around $10 to $12 million more than what the Steelers wanted to pay him. Actually, the Steelers were pretty close. The guaranteed money wasn't there, but Justin Fields chose that guaranteed money, and I get it. $30 million is a lot of money. But it just shows me something about Justin that winning championships isn't first and foremost in his mind. And that's okay. Everybody got to do them. And I'm not dogging Justin. Again, I thought he really played well last year when he was in. And I thought he really grew. I thought he worked hard. But I thought he got blinded this offseason by money. And his agent should have been better, should have been smarter, should have really told him, Justin, this is the path you got to take. This is your best opportunity to become a long-term superstar inside of the NFL. This is the path you got to take to get those $50 million a year contracts. That's here with the Steelers. That's here with the Steelers building a legacy. This is how you catch Lombardi trophies. This is how you go into the Hall of Fame. This is the path. Not through New Jersey, not through the Jets. They've been historically bad. It just is what it is. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live, only here on Mic Drop Sports each and every weekday. We truly appreciate it. Again, super chats are always open. Hitting that like button is always open. It's absolutely free. Sharing the show. And if you're not a member of this community, a subscriber of this community, again, guys, I don't know what the hell you were waiting for. Join us here at Mic Drop Sports. Join us here at the show and join this conversation with great football fans from around the world. And that's no exaggeration. We got people from everywhere that come here and join this conversation. So let's continue to rise up here and continue to take over this Steelers NFL type podcasting stuff and build a community of real truthful things. Pickens, Metcalf 12. Do you think the Steelers should extend George Pickens? Here's the thing with George, man. You got to show effort. You got to play harder. You got to show up for your teammates, and you got to show up for yourself. You got to start being respectful for yourself. That means being on time, working hard, going 110% on every snap. Don't go out there and give people reasons to talk shit. That's the thing George got to fix, guys. When you go out there and you play half-ass and you're playing the Chiefs, you were already late to the game, then you go out there and you dog on a play to where the safety knows that he doesn't have to cover you because you're running a half-ass route, then he jumps the one route where Russell Wilson puts the ball in a perfect location for Pat Freiermuth. You cause an interception because of your half-ass play. That really snowballs into just a disaster of a football game. Those are the things you got to fix. You got to learn to block. You got to learn that everything isn't going to come your way. You got to learn to pick and choose your moments and understand that the ball will find good players and that you can't overreact when it's not coming your way all the time. That's the mindset some of these guys got to get in, and particularly George Pickens. Again, he is not right now built himself into a $30+ million a year wide receiver. He's just not. Dirty D, man, I'm just getting off work. Glad to see you're on Talking Sports. Just opened my first beer. Awesome, Dirty D. Glad to be talking with you while you're having a cold one, man. have one for us. Daniel Warman in the house, our resident Bengals fan. Daniel Warman, hey, Jason, with the salary cap going up every year, maybe kicking the can down the road isn't so bad. The Bengals will sign Hendrickson. I hope. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, guys, kicking the can down the road, even with the salary cap going up, really isn't something that helps you in a big, big way, because you can only kick the can down the road so far. You got to pay the piper at some point, and the bills come due. You can only avoid it for so long. And I understand what you're saying, Daniel. God bless you, brother. Good to see you. But man, I just think the Bengals are putting themselves in a very compromising situation. But perhaps, maybe they're starting a new trend. Maybe they're being innovative. Maybe they're starting to set the standard in Cincinnati. But I really don't think so. If the Steelers can't get Dart, do they go for Jalen Milroe? Jalen Milroe's a guy that is absolutely off my list. I don't think he's quality NFL player. I think he's good for college, but that's just it. Good for college. Again, just somebody I'm not interested in, man. I believe he has really small hands. I believe he's just not that guy for me. I'm not even going to go too far into Jalen Milroe. I think he's not worth a draft pick, in my opinion. I think that you need to go over guys like Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers. I think those are guys that I would be aiming for over Jalen Milroe for sure. No doubt about it. And also, I'd be aiming for the 2026 draft, when I feel like there's far more talent out there for the Pittsburgh Steelers to pick over. And again, build up your draft capital as much as you can. That way you are in a position to make a move for one of those bigger name guys. Mitch Pittsburgh, when will the season tickets go on sale? I don't know when they go on sale. I'm not on the list. You got to be on the list, so I don't know. They're sold out, you know. You got to be on the list, and they tell you. Downtown, hey, Mr. Steeler fan, let's not forget that the team, a.k.a. the boys, love Rudolph. He wasn't just some guy to them. He got us to the postseason. Yeah, I believe that Mason's a guy that everybody loves in that locker room. Mason's best ball was here with Tomlin. 4 games, shaking my head, y'all. Never learn y'all are going to turn on Mason in 5 games. I'm not turning on Mason in 5 games, Steel 43. I've been a Mason fan because I feel like he's not got the opportunity. And again, I don't care if he goes 0-16. I don't care. If he's playing bad, I'll call him out for it. But here's the thing. The Steelers' situation is better off if they roll with Mason, save the money, build elsewhere. I'm not saying don't spend the money. I'm just saying save on the money, don't mortgage the future, put the money into young players, try to do what you haven't been able to do for a long, long time, and that's develop young quarterbacks and go that route. I think that that's the only way that you can quit trying to Band-Aid this situation. It makes 0 sense to keep doing that. Ryan Stevenson in the house, he says, when is Captain Special signing with you boys? What is he doing? Waiting for Vikings? He's pissing everyone in Steelers Nation off. Go Pats. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Ryan. I don't get his arrogance, man. Rodgers, and his ego and what he is doing right now, I think, is a real reflection of exactly who he is. How he is making teams wait, how he is trying to just really dictate and utterly control everybody's situation, not only his, is just a direct reflection of just who Aaron exactly is. And that is a massive egomaniac with a real fucking problem with being told that he's wrong. I really truly believe that waiting on Aaron Rodgers, dragging this out, continually making it headlines and continually putting this inside of that locker room, I think is a big, big, big mistake for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if I'm Omar Khan, I go out there and I publicly announce that they are no longer in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, that they are committed fully to stop Band-Aiding this quarterback situation, and that they are going to go inside of the draft, try to find young talent. Until then, they're going to roll with number 2. They're going to roll with Mason Rudolph, and they are going to try to make things work with him. But in the meantime, Steelers fans, we're going to continue to try to make this roster a championship roster and really try to build things this way from the inside out. That's what the Steelers need to do to save face in this situation, guys. Point blank, period. You got to. Rudolph's going to save Christmas once more from Trustville. Cool, man. Jonathan Stevens, we in here. I don't care who you put at quarterback. Keep GP and DK, and we will be okay. Draft a running back. Grab young quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round, and one next year as well. Raider Drox, 4 wins. What's that mean? The Raiders are only getting 4 wins? At least you got Gino. I like Gino. Robert Road, that was sorry, Robert, that was your pin comment that I have up there. Yeah, Pickens Metcalf 12. Is Warren running back 1? Absolutely. Jalen is now the RB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. That's not saying they don't get somebody exceptional inside of the draft. I feel like there's a couple real generational talents there. I think Hamilton. I think Genty. I think, again, there's several guys that they can get inside of this draft. But, again, I don't want to commit first-round draft capital unless it's a Genty. That's probably about it for me. But still, Warren is RB1, and I think it's going to work out. But you got to find him a running mate, and I think the Steelers do a fine job of getting running backs. They overpaid for Najee. Najee wasn't a first-round talent. Najee was a big miss by the Steelers. And again, I don't want to hear about his 1,000-yard seasons. Average that out and tell me if those numbers excite you. Black and Gold just got off work. Glad to join. Awesomeness. We're happy to have you, Black and Gold. Let's keep going. Sean says, no, I won't turn my back on Mason. Speak for yourself. I won't either, man. Downtown, hey, Yans, what's not to like? Hit and don't quit. Quit it, Yans. I love his Pittsburghese. Love you, Downtown. Steel 43, it doesn't matter to me deep down. We already know the outcome. Yeah, we already know the outcome. As long as Mike Tomlin's at the helm, you know the outcome, especially if they don't have a franchise quarterback in place. And we are all well aware of it. No more than 10 wins, major catastrophic skids inside of the season, and you're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs if you make it, and you typically need help from other teams to make it inside of the playoffs. You're going to be picking between 17 and 22. That's where you're usually picking, or 21 rather, and that's how it's just going to be. Go TSU, y'all should be happy that you have DK. Yeah, DK's an exceptional talent, absolutely. No, the glass is half full over here. No losers mentality over here. No, we can't never do that. All Mason has to do is have one turnover, and Tomlin is going to handcuff the hell out of him that it's all over. And yeah, and that's a Tomlin problem, not a Mason problem. You can't, guys, turnovers are going to happen. And Mike Tomlin's got to get out of this bullshit of, oh my God, they can't throw one interception. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to be able to deal with some of that. And if your defense is so great, the way you talk about it, Mr. Mike Tomlin, every year, the way you talk about how everything is laid onto the defense, basically, where you put them in bad situations because you have so much faith in them, why would you live on your fears or inside of your fears like you say that you don't do offensively? If the defense has so much faith put in it by you, you wouldn't be so scared to be ultra conservative inside of the offense. All right, guys, we got to get those likes cranking. Let's go. Double tap that screen. It's absolutely free here on the channel to hit that like button. Oh, wait, it's free anywhere. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free. Come on, double tap that screen. Or 3 little white dots up in the right-hand corner. You can bring that down and hit like also. And share the show. And subscribe if you're not already. Black and Gold, I see we got some more D-line help. Yep, we did that. Re-signing Loudermilk and signing Ukule from the Pats. Hopefully we can get more explosion up the middle so our edges can get freed up on one-on-ones on the outside. Absolutely. But, guys, the defense has to change a little bit. Mike Tomlin's been ultra conservative there too. You can't continue to do some of the basic things that they do over and over and over again. You got to mix things up. You got to become a little bit more exotic on that defensive front, that defense as a whole. You got to start to be able to bring pressures from different locations. You got to start being a little bit more aggressive in terms of how you operate. Maybe take a page out of the Dick LeBeau days and bring back a little bit of the blitz. And Terrell Austin really likes the blitz. However, Mike Tomlin is just like a guy that says, oh, we're going to rush 3. That's it, my friend. Downtown says, Jason, do you think that the Manning family will allow the Tomlin Steelers to obtain that kid's talent? It'd be great, but I do. I think Mike Tomlin's bullshitted enough people inside of the NFL that everybody looks at him like, coaching God. So, yeah, I think they would. Jester Prod, should we go out and get Jackson Dart in the first round or save it and grab a running back if they're still there so that we don't have to give Jalen Warren a big payday next year? I don't think Jalen Warren will require too big of a payday. I don't. Unless he has some amazing year, and if he does, God bless him. I don't know. Again, it would have to be a generational type talent for me to take a running back in the first round, guys. I'm sorry. Running back is not a position that you go out there and spend exuberant high value draft capital on. It's just my opinion. I think you can find value elsewhere in the running back position without spending that. I would particularly like to go after a quarterback, a Jackson Dart, tackles, offensive tackles, centers, guards, trench players as a whole. Those are the players you take inside of the first round because those are the foundational pieces that every football team needs. You got to have those guys in place. And I mean, again, if a generational talent falls to you in the first round, like an Ashton Genty or something, sure. But you're picking at 21. Genty ain't going to be there at 21. Jackson Dart, maybe. I doubt it highly. He is slamming up draft boards after Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe either one of them threw at the combine. And when Jackson Dart was throwing there, he was wowing people. People were really excited. And I think he really increased his draft value. I look for Jackson Dart to be gone within the top 15 picks, if not within the top 12, in my opinion. I don't see him making it to 21. But if Jackson Dart is there after the 20th pick is made, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, I am running to the fucking podium and screaming out Jackson Dart's name. Let's keep going. Sleeping Lady, Mason is 9-8-1 as a starter. Give him a shot with this team. I bet he is easily able to meet the standard 9-8 Tomlin season or better. Draft the quarterback this year. Get the wide receiver next draft. Yeah, I mean, 9-8-1 with half of the firepower that you have right now offensively. I feel like Mason Rudolph with DK Metcalf at his disposal, George Pickens, Jalen Warren, Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, a healthy Calvin Austin, a healthy Roman Wilson, those types of guys all over the board for Mason Rudolph now. I feel like really gives him a tremendous chance to do really well. Mikey, hey man, the AFC North is a dogfight next year. Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers. Yeah, it's always a dogfight, Mikey. Ryan, Jets are a bad organization. Rodgers would thrive at Pittsburgh. Maybe he would, Ryan. I can't get on board with the ego. The ego is what bothers me, man. And it's hard for me to sit here and act like it doesn't, or it shouldn't bother the Steelers, or any team he goes to for that matter. Not just the Steelers, not just the Steelers fan base. He seems like a real locker room cancer, in my opinion. And I don't know if I'd be willing to deal with it. West Philly Black, Tomlin was going to draft Hurts when he came out of college, but the Eagles drafted him in the second round while we still had Wentz. Yeah, I would have loved Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts is definitely good talent. John Broadway, the Jets have turned into the junkyard team where everyone goes to die, a.k.a. Neil O'Donnell, etc., etc. Absolutely, man. The Jets love to get former Steelers. Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh right now, this would be a scary offense. Slum Life, I didn't catch it. What is Milton's asking price? A third-round draft pick. James Boutman, the Steelers blew this offseason. Couldn't get either a quarterback from last year, and for some reason thinks Rodgers is the answer, being held hostage by a 41-year-old that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 15 years. Good comment, James. Absolutely. Do I think the Steelers have failed? I don't think they failed this offseason as a whole, but man, they've bumblefucked this quarterback position up in a big way. I do feel like, though, Mason Rudolph was a good signing. Definitely a good signing. All right, guys, I need you to hit the shit out of that like button. Beat the shit out of it like you own it. We truly appreciate it here on Steel City Live, only on Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always. We are diving in daily here, bringing you real shit. We're not trying to just go out there and bullshit you and come up with a bunch of hypotheticals that make no fucking sense, that'll probably never happen just to get your clicks. That's not what we're about. We want you to come here and have a real truthful conversation about the realities of what is truly going on with this football team. So that's what we want to do. And I feel like there's other channels that do that. So make sure you find who you fit with best and go to those truthful places that really are going to try to be as accurate as possible and not really try to blow a bunch of smoke up your ass. So again, find those channels, find the people that meet what you need best, and listen there. Don't go for that clickbait shit. Ryan, you'd walk away too if Tomlin sat you for a has-been. Oh yeah, I'm sure you would. Conrad 2345, who are we talking about? Everybody, Conrad. Everybody. James Bauman, they could have taken that money, got pieces, ran with Mason, and drafted quarterback. Now we didn't get pieces. You did get pieces. You got DK Metcalf. You got pieces on the defense. You got Eccles. You got Slay. You got the D lineman. You made moves. You definitely got better, in my opinion. You got Gainwell. I definitely feel like they got better. No doubt about it. But again, the Steelers definitely bumbled that, James, and I agree with you. They could have done a lot better, man. They get an F, in my opinion, at the quarterback situation up until they signed Mason Rudolph. Once they signed Mason Rudolph, I felt like it went up to a D. But Mason's definitely a welcoming addition in my eyes. Wave that terrible towel for our OG Miss P. Slum Life. What's Milton's asking price? The third-round pick. Mr. Steeler fan, I really hope we do sign Rodgers. Arthur Smith won't bully Aaron. We might see the best offense we have ever seen under Rodgers. The man keeps his body in solid shape, too. I don't know, man. I just don't know, Mr. Steeler fan. It's going to be a tough sell for me, man, with Aaron Rodgers. Black and Gold, yes, Field should have asked Bell about Jets. I can't recall any Steelers playing that continued their career successfully elsewhere except Woodson, Hardy Nickerson, and maybe Mike Wallace. Everyone keeps talking about Aaron's age, but he put up 28 touchdowns last year, and that's with the Jets, who had an interim head coach. I mean, I see your point, no doubt, but they won 5 games, and football's the ultimate team sport, guys, Trustville, cool man. Rudolph's going to save Christmas once more. We did that. Jonathan Stevens, we did that. Sorry, guys, just trying to read through. Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. That's who I'm talking about. Robert. That's who I keep saying, not Hamilton. Hampton. Omarion Hampton, North Carolina, was graded out as the 14th best running back in the NFL draft since 1999. That's who I was talking about. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. That's who I'm talking about. Omarion Hampton, guys. He's the guy I would pick. Him, Genty. Those are guys I'd pick. Soraka 303, I wish we could focus on the O-line and then get average guys and let them cook. You can do anything with a great line. Guys, I don't think the line's in trouble. I know a lot of you are really down on it, and I can see why. You have reason to be. You have facts in front of you that say that you should be. But this young offensive line is going to really start to shine. I'm just telling you, be patient, guys. Daniel Berry, Sports Network in the house, or Sports Highlights in the house. Darwin, they've both been very outspoken about wanting more passes their way. Roast, I heard crazy trade thought. Steelers trade for Purdy. I think that's your best chance. Making a stupid trade right now, guys, is not the Steelers' best chance. A Dak trade's stupid. A Purdy trade's stupid. A Kirk Cousins trade's stupid. A Milton trade's stupid. Guys, these don't make sense. They just don't. In my eyes. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, they don't make sense to me. They're going to cry because they get no targets. This guy doesn't even acknowledge our chat. What are you talking about, Nick? This guy doesn't even acknowledge our chat. Well, I won't acknowledge yours from now on. You're a weirdo, dude. I'm probably one of the few creators that reads as many chats as I do without getting super chats. I know many creators that don't answer a damn thing unless you put super chats in there. Buddy, I bust my ass trying to incorporate people into the show. So Don't sit here with your Dallas Cowboy star on your thing there, whatever it is, your picture, and be like, oh, God, you don't acknowledge our chats. You're lucky I even look your way, man. Chiefs, black and gold. Do we see any blitzes off the edge with a DB like we used to do with Hilton, maybe with Beanie? I hope Beanie's game. I think you got Eccles now that you can do some of these things with that can play inside out. I hope to see some of that black and gold, definitely. Dallas Cowboys suck ass. You have Dak Prescott that has Lamar Jackson syndrome. They can't win big games. So you're stuck paying $60 million a year to Dak Prescott that does shit for you. That, yeah, we're good in the regular season. Yeehaw. Come on, man. This is about Lombardi trophies, not about bullshit. Jason Hahn, Commanders, Super Bowl. You have the best quarterback from last year's draft in Jaden Daniels, man. I don't care about your comment, Nick. You're right. I do not care about your comment. Patriots fan here. Joe Milton is great at 80-yard bombs, and that's about it. And that's from a Patriots fan. That's from Chris. Ganja King B, my opinion, bringing Mason back is like drunk dialing your ex at 2 a.m. Good comment, but I think it's wrong, though. But good comment, funny one. Dewberry, I think Joe Milton would be a fit for Pittsburgh. Doing what, guys? Why are you so hell-bent on Joe Milton, guys? God, you listen too much to the national media. They force-feed too much bullshit down. They just throw a name out there and ride with it, and fans eat it up because they don't know no better. They don't know no better. You watch your team, you don't know nothing else about it. You're just like, oh, Joe Milton because fucking somebody said so. Do your research, man. This guy is highly inaccurate. He's a fucking running back at the quarterback position. Not being mean, I'm just saying. Sleeping Lady, I always feel it's good to get the highest paid positions in rounds 1 and 2. You can pay very little by today's going rate to get better NFL running back and Najee on a free agent market. Absolutely. How you got to draft, guys, is best person available, no doubt about that. But you got to look at the positional pay scale. Where are you going to pay the most and what positions are the highest value? Those are the ones you take the earliest in the draft. That's the natural thing to do. What's up, Cap 10? Devin Burkett would love to see the 6-time Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers draft a guy like Jackson Dart and let him learn from someone like Russ. Steelers country, let's weld. Let's weld, baby. Downtown, okay, so how would you, Jason, run the offense with Mason Rudolph? How I would run the offense with Mason Rudolph is I would really try to attack the edges with the big arm of Mason Rudolph, but I'd also really put a lot of emphasis into the middle of the field. I feel like that's what opens up guys like DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I would really put a lot of emphasis into two tight end sets where you got Darnell, you got Pat Freiermuth out there. Really try to throw the football out of the backfield to the running backs. I would try to do a lot of that, but I would really attack in the middle of the field and put a high emphasis on that, trying to free up the edges for guys like George Pickens, Calvin Austin on the deep ball. But I really want to draw in defenses to where they can't load the box on the Steelers in the run game. And really put defenses on their heels. You got to keep them guessing with that middle of the field usage. And I think a lot of drag routes, a lot of insides to the outs, I think would work. But you got to really be patient and not expect Mason to be some guy running all over the football field, scrambling everywhere. You got to protect him. But guys, this offensive line would rather block for a guy like Mason Rudolph than a guy like Lamar Jackson. And that's the truth. You can ask these offensive linemen that. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that, guys. They don't want to block for a guy that they have no clue where they're fucking going to be. Mason Rudolph, they know he's going to be in that pocket and that he's only going to bail in if he got to. And that provides the offensive line a little bit of relief, man. And that's going to help these young guys. They don't have to guess where this player is going to be. And that is key. I'm telling you. But again, Mason, have a good pocket presence, be comfortable in the pocket, deliver a lot of those underneath, middle, really hammer those routes, man. Really try to get that defense back on their heels again and not allow them to play the run like they did. That's kind of where I would be in my thought process of how I will want this scheme to work. Yeah, Roast, that'd be fun to have Steelers and Philly in the Super Bowl. That'd be super fun. Who do I want? I don't want to trade for anybody, man. Trade nobody. You're not in a position as a Steelers fan or a Steelers organization to want to trade. You're risking things that you don't need to risk. It's not the right time. That's just my personal opinion. Guys, I may be wrong. Jason isn't right all the time. Robert Rowe, there's plenty of talent on the O-line, but 3 players left in free agency, so we will draft at least one this year. Yeah, they'll definitely have to bring in some people. You lost Herbig to the Commanders, I believe. You lost James Daniels. You lost Dan Moore. So definitely depth is going to be a concern, no doubt about it. Sleeping Lady, I hope we get a quarterback, defensive tackle, cornerback, or tight end in round 1. Get big up front, get dogs. Yeah, tight end I can't agree with. I think that they are set at tight end right now. I think tight end in the first round would be a massive, massive failure, in my opinion. I agree with the other ones, though. Cornerback in the first round, it would have to be a really great talent because I think you have other pressing needs that are a little bit more. I think you address the cornerback position a little bit, but I think you can also address it in the later rounds because I think it's a really deep class, Sleeping Lady. So I think cornerback could be addressed later into the draft. Fred Dog, 420. Cowboys have won 5 playoff games since 1996 when O'Donnell made a pact with the devil to throw the game. Yeah, no shit. The Cowboys have sucked ass, man, since that Super Bowl. Robert Rowe, Milton, very strong arm and 0 accuracy. Brandon, Joe Milton, 40-year-old quarterback, come on. You just want white quarterbacks. You never got anything good to say about black quarterbacks, but yet you're pulling for a washed Aaron Rodgers. Brandon, I am not pulling for Aaron Rodgers. I have tremendous things to say about black quarterbacks, my friend. Do not come here playing the race card because that's not how we operate in this community. Jalen Hurts is one of my favorites. So come on, man. Don't play that bullshit here. You're acting like a real dick beater, dude. And honestly, you deserve to be like banned from the channel. Because that's kind of stupid. I won't do it because I think that's shady. I'll let you on there to look stupid because you're really an idiot. But Brandon, that was probably the dumbest comment that I've ever seen. You get a flag for being a stupid idiot. Brandon saying that we don't. Come on, bro. Come on. You don't listen to the channel enough to say these things, dude. You're an idiot. But you are quite stupid. At least though you're consistent. Truth hurts how? Go back and watch my shows, my friend. You're an idiot. You know that. You make dumb comments to try to get people riled up, and that's okay. That's fine. I just now, though, know to ignore your comments because you're a super idiot. You probably have made the dumbest comment that we've ever had here in almost 2 years of doing this show. Jackson Dart learning from Aaron Rodgers. No thanks. A1, Kirk Cousins is a perfect fit for Pittsburgh. No thanks. Trading for Kirk O'Chains would be a catastrophic move. I'd rather end up with Rodgers on a 1 year because if we sign Rodgers, it comes with Pat McAfee to clean each other's boots. Ganja King, seems like every year we miss the middle of the field. Yeah, no doubt, man. That's a big problem. Devin, that's a bit ridiculous to say, Brandon. Absolutely. Yeah, Robert, play action, no doubt, man. Definitely something that you can utilize. Sleeping Lady, I was thinking specifically if that Penn State tight end is available at 21. If it's one of those talents, Sleeping Lady, generational type talents that you really are high on, sure. Yeah, that's his name. Let's go, Brandon. He acts like Joe Biden and those sissy liberals. You're right about that, Sean. Their feelings are so bound up and they got to utilize like race and shit. Like instead of just telling the truth, Just say the truth, man. It don't matter. Yeah, Devin, that'd be cool. I mean, he's a generational talent, no doubt. Black and Gold said that that race bait comment was just as dumb as the Washington Mystics owner toward Caitlin Clark. Yeah, man. It's these, yeah, look at you, emotional. I'm this emotional every day, watch my shows. Yeah, he is, Mace, or D. He is, D. Brandon got timed out. Yeah, that race stuff, guys, we don't play that here, man. Honestly, you guys that watch me, you know. I'm very high on a lot of people. I don't want a running back at a quarterback position, and if that happens to be a black guy, then it happens to be a black guy. If it happened to have been a white guy, I'd have said the same thing about a white guy. There is no bear. It matters neither to me. I don't care. The truth is the truth. I don't want that. Now, I feel like there's some exceptional talents. Patrick Mahomes, his dad's a black guy. He's got black in him, and he's probably the league's best player. Just saying. Jalen Hurts, he's a black guy. One of my favorite players. Just saying. So we don't need that bullshit here, man. Yeah, I agree, JG. I mean, I don't know. I just get upset when people say that, and that does bring out emotion in me. And because I don't want that to ever be something that goes on here. We're a good group here. And I feel like this is one of the few places that you can come without that bullshit. It's a couple hours a day that you don't have to hear that kind of bullshit. We're all just coming together to talk football, you know? All right, guys, we've been going for 70 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Not Matthew, just Tim. What's up? Oh, there's Honest Abe back in the chat. Kenny Pickens in Cleveland. You're probably happy. All right, guys, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button on the way out. We're going to wrap this show up today. We went a little bit over. Truly appreciate all the support out there. Thank you so very much. My eyes are starting to burn. I think it's from the light, but damn, crazy. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are absolutely amazing. I hate to get off when we have 88 viewers, though. What's up, Steven? Hold on. I got to delete this guy. He's on my nerves. I had to delete that Nick guy. He's on my nerves, man. Sorry. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. I hate to get off when we're rocking and rolling, but sometimes we got to. My eyes are killing me, man, from this freaking light. But anyway, guys, I truly appreciate you. You guys are absolutely the most amazing community on YouTube. I truly value each and every one of you. This is a great place to be. So until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends. See you on the next one.